Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ripple Effect Podcast. We're so glad to be with you here this week. Whether you're listening to this on the go or you're watching this, we are happy you are here. As usual, the Ripple Effect Podcast is a behind-the-scenes look at things that happen at Timberlake Christian Church. Gives us a chance to let you know what's coming up and to spotlight a ministry or individuals that are doing some great things. Today in the studio, I have Miss Cheryl Botkins on my left, and to her left is the reluctant and always camera ready Mary Green. We're so glad you are here. What is it about being on camera that you don't like? Like, why? What
all
is
of it.
Just the whole thing.
I would prefer a script than winging it, and I never know what you're going to ask.
Just be yourself.
Yeah.
No? Okay.
That's uncomfortable.
Well, I'm
I'm one of those
you're
personalities when you ask a question and everything escapes my mind,
Right.
and I have nothing to say,
Yeah.
and then I just feel like I look like an idiot.
I think that every person just should enjoy being put on the spot, and nobody does.
I feel like that's a personality thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of my flaws. Anyway, before we get to all of that, we have a Spotlight of the Week, and Ms. Cheryl will now demonstrate the Spotlight, or not the Spotlight of the Week, the sponsor of the week, and you can now demonstrate for us. Yeah, thank you. That's
There you go.
Baby, yes!
So Mary, you were saying something that can you spot it?
I feel like we should have a game. You know, like Carly and her team have been working on VBS decorations last couple of weeks,
thank you
and
to these ladies.
they've been saying, "Hey, send us your toilet paper tubes and your paper towel tubes and your pill bottles and your egg cartons and all this stuff." And it feels like it should be like can you spot the items that came in the coral reef on Sunday morning?
Maybe we should do like a bingo card that you could fill out. Like if you see the
pill bottle.
the pill bottle or this, I will never be able to win because the way that they do the decorations is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It took me a minute I was like, what is that? I was like, oh, those are pill bottles.
Yes.
They did a good job. They look really nice.
So you have to check that out.
Wait till you see the whale. I'm just telling you. Wait till you see it.
The eyelashes
It is-
on the whale.
It is incredible. It's not even done yet,
I
but just
know.
wait till you
Right.
see the whale. All right, well, we do have some things that we need to get to, some top TLCC top 3 that we need to let you know of before we share a little bit about the counseling ministry, and Cheryl's going to share with us some things that are happening. The first thing we want to let you know about that's coming up is the men's second Saturday of the month is coming up soon. We are going to be meeting, it's this coming Saturday, at Tony Beaverson's house. And we're going to have a Bible study together, and we're going to share a breakfast together. Joel Johnson, one of our elders here, and food chef extraordinaire will be cooking breakfast. And Tony said that if you'd like to, bring a chair, because there's not a whole lot of chairs out there. So bring a chair to sit in, and if you want to fish afterwards, there's a pond there. You can bring a fishing pole and enjoy that as well. I heard there are some huge fish, just big fish there.
He's got a really cool setup.
It's great. It'll be good. So this is a great time of fellowship, Bible study, encouraging one another. So it happens this coming Saturday. This coming Saturday, we meet at 7:30 out of Tony Beaverson's house. And if you want to know where that's at, just message us and we'll let you know where that is located. The second thing is VBS is next week, and I'm going to let Mary talk about this.
Yeah, so if you haven't registered to volunteer at VBS or you haven't registered your child to attend VBS, it's open to children aged 4 through entering 5th grade. So you can take care of all of that on the church website at tlcc.church, and then go to the VBS event, and there's a doc, and all the links to all the information you need to know is right there. If you're already signed up to be a volunteer, crew leaders have training Thursday night at 6 o'clock here at the church, and then all the VBS volunteers have a training at 7 o'clock.
On Thursday night.
And you'll be able to tell the building is already in the process of turning into an underwater wonderland. And Sunday after church, it will be full-on prep, and then it starts Monday morning at 9 o'clock.
If you are going to bring some perishable foods to donate, bring them here on Sunday, and that'll be like the final donation happening on Sunday. And
if it's stuff that needs to be refrigerated, if you go into the church kitchen, I'll have a sign on the refrigerator, and if you put them on that shelf, that'd be fantastic. Then I can sort them out by where they go to different stations or locations.
Every year I forget about this, and it is a good reminder to fight temptation. And that is, there's so much food in the fridge that I am not allowed to touch.
Right.
And it's so difficult because it's all there and it's all so good. Okay, so crew leader training on Thursday. It happens at 6, and then the all volunteer meeting is at 7 on Thursday. And register your kids for VBS, your kids, your grandkids, and that'll be great. The last thing we want to let you know about is the pool party that happens each year, weather permitting. And Mary, when's the pool party going to be?
The pool party is the 19th, so it's the Friday night, the last day of VBS, and then we invite everyone that came to VBS and their families and all of our church family to meet us at the Aquatic Center from 7 to 9 p.m. And if you would like to bring snacks to share, you're welcome to bring them, but they have to stay within the fenced area and they cannot go out by the pool. But we do have that, and the church pays for that, and it's a great chance to get to know other church family or even people you don't know, introduce yourself and make a new friend.
Yeah, it's a great night. So there you go, the TLCC Top 3, Men's Second Saturday coming up this Saturday at 7:30 a.m. You've got VBS happening, register your kids. If you are volunteering, you have a meeting that is training at 6 p.m. and then all volunteer meeting at 7, and then the pool party, which happens after VBS. So there's your top 3 of the week. All right, Cheryl,
Yes.
you're back.
Back.
For those of you who don't know, Missouri's elevation is a little over 700 feet. We're about 700 feet above sea level, maybe 800 feet above sea level.
Yeah.
And recently you took it up a notch.
Oh, just
You went a little bit higher than that. Where have you been? What did you do?
yes, Pikes Peak.
You went to Pikes
Went to
Peak.
Pikes Peak. Yes.
Oh, you even wore the shirt.
I
Look at
did,
you.
I'm-
You're representing.
My shirt, yeah. So 14,115 feet.
Did you bring oxygen with you?
We did take a can of oxygen. Controversial if it's really helpful, but we had it just in case.
Good.
You never know.
So had you climbed Pikes Peak before?
I haven't climbed Pikes Peak. I've cog railed and rode.
Yeah,
in
we've
a
been up
vehicle
there.
Yeah, because we went as a group as well.
That's awesome.
But I have hiked 5 other 14ers.
So this is your 6th one? 6 14er. Are we going to get to 14 14ers?
No, Gerald and I agreed to 10.
Okay, we're doing 10.
10.
That's good.
10.
That's a good number.
So,
That's a good
yeah,
number.
try to keep us young.
Yeah, absolutely.
Feeling young.
Absolutely.
But sometimes after we're done, we're like, oh, what did we do to ourselves?
That's it.
This time we're feeling pretty good, though.
That's good.
We've been training.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, the pictures are beautiful, and that's an exciting thing. But you are back just in time for some things that are going on with the counseling ministry. So, for those who don't know about Timberlake's counseling ministry, which you might be living under a rock, but if someone were to be like, "Hey, does your church do counseling? What is the counseling ministry there?" Just give us a general overview, because you've been at it now for many years.
10.
10 years building
10 years
a program here.
Mhm.
Well, how would you describe, what is the counseling ministry? What's provided here? And then we'll get into more specifics coming up.
Yeah, well, we've grown to having 3 therapists. 2, myself and Bethany, are licensed, and then Dana McGee, we have her on as a counselor in training, getting her master's degree. So we're really excited to have the therapist, but we have several lay counselors and individuals that are helping us with our groups that we do as well.
What kind of groups are provided here?
The ones that we've been pretty steady with: grief share, divorce care for kids, and then our caregiver support group, which we just recently started.
That's awesome. And then individual clients that you take on from within the church, outside the church,
Yes.
and then an array of community stuff that you do as well.
We do, yeah. So you don't have to be attending Timberlake to utilize the counseling services. We work with members of the community. I know I even have some clients that drive a little distance away, and both Bethany and I can do telehealth if we're working with someone within the state of Missouri. So that's a great option for us. And then working with some community agencies. We're working with local counsel for the crisis intervention team. So that training will be coming up this fall. And then working with the health departments, caring community partnerships. We do some different community work as well as we reach out with those organizations.
Yeah. You have some events coming up. Not events, but you have groups starting.
Yeah.
What do people need to know about? Who are they for? Why do they help individuals? Share a little bit about the group starting up.
Yeah, so Grief Share will begin again July 30th, Tuesday night. We're also going to be starting Divorce Care and Divorce Care for Kids. We decided that would be a great night to kick off starting our groups again for this fall. So they'll run 13 weeks for each of those groups. You can register on tlcc.church. We have the Church Center app that they can find more information about those groups as well. You don't have to attend every single week. I know 13 weeks is a long commitment, so we do recognize that you may miss one here or there, but it's for individuals that are with Grief Share that have lost a loved one, divorce care, or separated. If you're looking at that as part of a life situation, and then that is a great opportunity for kids because we have the divorce care for kids as well, to be able to bring them as they walk through. That can be a challenge for children, and that is roughly ages 5 to 12 that we look at for divorce care for kids.
In those, I know we've had some individuals. I've had some individuals that say, like, I've been through this and I want to recommend this to a friend, or hey, I don't need it right now, but there's some people I know who need it. Is that okay for people to suggest it for other individuals that they know?
Absolutely. If you've walked through any of these situations and you recognize it can be hard, it can be a challenge. And so when you have a recognition that someone else is struggling in those areas or looking at going through that same situation, come alongside of them and encourage them to get some support as they walk through those difficult life situations.
What about volunteers? If we have people in the church that are like, I've tried different areas to serve in, is there any room for people in the congregation to say, hey, I've been through some stuff, maybe I can help out? I know you've had some people speak and share in different areas, so are there volunteer opportunities for people to use their story to help others in the counseling ministry?
Yeah, so that can sometimes...
Said, was that a good one?
It is a good one.
Okay.
I like it because sometimes it's a little challenging.
Yeah.
When we're talking about counseling, therapy, support, we're very private. In a lot of those moments, we're worried about confidentiality, worried about who else is going to find out. And so it would be beneficial, Bethany and I and Dana, knowing some individuals who have walked through life situations, sharing those with us in some capacity and being available, that we could help connect you with maybe people that we are working with to just have additional help, additional support, hearing other people's stories, because there's a lot of things we go through in life that we tend to think we're the only ones going through it. And so then we isolate and we forget that other people have stories. People have been there. And so it's good to connect in that way.
Yeah, so if you're someone who has been through something and you've gotten to the place where you feel like, okay, I've done the hard work of working through it and understanding myself and knowing what has happened and knowing who I am and feeling the nudge of maybe it's time to share some of that with people, but you're not sure who, a good step would be talking to Cheryl, talking with Bethany and saying, I don't know how this fits in, but this is a little bit of my story and I'd love to help. I just spoke with someone in the church and didn't know their story, knew them a little bit and found out they were an alcoholic for the better part of 20 years. And you would never know it now. Right. But they were saying, if there's individuals who could use that kind of encouragement, that they could talk with them. And that, it's one thing for me to give biblical principles. It's another to be like, hey, I've been there and I know that. So
right.
If you feel that nudging, that'd be a great way to serve and to use your story, what God's brought you through, to help others. All right, I want to get to, is there any more announcements or things you want to put, now's your chance, because I want to transition now to something else.
I think we're good to transition. Tuesday nights groups, July 30th.
July 30th, Tuesday nights. If you're not going or sending anybody to it, the very least you could do is pray for those groups. because there are people that are going through so much, and we want this to be a place that people feel safe and feel supported, and an environment where the comfort and love of Jesus is experienced as they're going through things. So pray for those groups and the leaders of those groups as well. Okay, so here's my question. And really, this could go a ton of different ways. And actually, Mary, you could even speak to this a little bit. I don't know if I've ever asked you why you went into counseling in the first place. And what is it about counseling that you feel like is not just helpful, but almost a necessary part of our society? Because I know you believe like this matters. So why did you even get into it in the first place? And then why does it matter for us? Why can't I just talk to my friend over here and get it out and then move on?
Sometimes that is helpful.
Yes.
it is helpful.
Depends on your friend.
Your friend doesn't get over it. It's fine.
Suck it up.
Suck it up. Let it go. Yeah.
Well, God broke my heart for hurting people. Gerald and I had moved away from this area, and then we moved back. And in moving back, there was just, well, I shouldn't say just moving back. While we were gone, coming in contact with individuals in life situations and just our own life situations, recognizing, okay, there's a lot of hurting people. I was a little bit younger, so thinking everybody's good, right?
Yeah.
But as you get more
good.
more life experience, and you encounter more people, and you really get into ministry work, especially, you recognize there are hurting people. Not that everybody's hurting all the time through their whole life, but there are situations that show up. And so God just really broke my heart for hurting people. And then in the process of learning how to minister to them and care for them, there was that recognition that some of these things have some very deep roots. And they also have a lot of soul wounds that come with that. And the recognition of Jesus is the one that can heal those. And so just going to therapy is helpful, but there's that extra element that comes in when you add Christ into the healing process.
So it's not one or the other. It's not, these tools are all you need and Jesus is a side thing, but you really need both. Because one can give you the tools you need, but the other is what shapes and changes your heart and mends your soul.
Exactly.
That's good. So why it matters then to you? For people?
Yeah, because I think there's a space where I believe you have to go into some depth. Where are some root issues showing up? And so really digging into that space, we don't want to just treat what's on top. That's not going to be long-lasting change, heart transformation. Really getting to know yourself. So digging in a little bit deeper, getting to know yourself a little bit more, getting to know God and how He created you more also helps you parallel those two as you form your new transformation.
Yeah. Mary, were you ever skeptical of counseling and the whole idea of counseling, or were you just, that's something that was valuable and
I think it was something that I always thought was valuable, but I don't think until I went to counseling myself did I truly understand how valuable it is to have somebody who's completely objective, who doesn't know me, doesn't know anything about me, to just listen and suggest things and challenge me to look different at different aspects that I needed to work on. Because you grow up and you're familiar with your family of origin, with truths that you believe as a child and you take into adulthood and you don't question them until somebody else is going, tell me a little bit more about that.
There's something there.
And I'm a reader, so, my counselor was really good at saying, you know what, before next session, you might want to look at this book. Of course, I'd order it from Amazon and every other book that people who bought, and then I'd be like, and I'd come back and we'd have these long discussions, and it was very challenging to the way I saw myself and my place in this world, and it was immensely helpful.
Cheryl, as a counselor, what do you do with bad counselors? Because there are some counselors out there who, when I say bad, I just mean may not be very helpful, and to it's just like telling someone, well, just go to any church and it's going to be a good experience. That's
Or
not
any
true.
doctor.
Or any doctor, any other situation. You know, someone that's going and it seems like this isn't really helpful. Do you have any sort of advice that you give people when, like, they may be experiencing a bad counselor? Like, are there any signs to know that it's not a great situation? Or just this is my skepticism, where you know your desire to go into counseling came out of a heart for people. Some go into counseling because they never dealt with their own trauma. They got a little knowledge, a little experience, and then they went into it, and now they're offering advice to people that they may not be taking themselves. Do you have anything to say about that? I'm just curious.
So
This is a rabbit trail.
Yeah.
I'm really,
A good
really
rabbit
going
trail.
off the
A good
beaten
rabbit trail.
But I think that's one of the reasons people are skeptical is they're like, you know, some of these counselors are just not
I
great.
do think you have to find somebody that you are comfortable with.
Relationship is a big
It's
part of
okay to
that.
go and feel like this isn't the right one and try another one.
Yep.
Don't you think?
Absolutely, it is. Because part of it, the bigger part of it is going to be rapport. If you're not comfortable with the counselor you're working with, you're not going to open up. You're not going to take their suggestions.
Yeah.
You're not going to grow. And that's part of the whole reason of going. So I think a lot of it is recognizing within a first few sessions, there should be some rapport built. There should be trust built. I can open up to you and feel comfortable with you, and the therapist is going to be comfortable with them as well. But that doesn't always happen, and I think that's a really important piece to recognize that that's okay.
Yeah.
Like if like you're saying bad counselor,
Right.
but if an individual is meeting with somebody and within a couple
Provocative language
it
over
is.
here.
Within a couple of sessions, you're like, we're just not hitting it
Not
off.
for me.
We're not connecting.
But
That's
I do
okay.
think it's important to say that doesn't mean that counseling doesn't work. It's
Right.
just this is not the right connection. Just
Right.
like if you have a family doctor or a, that you feel like isn't listening to you, you don't go, all doctors are idiots. You're like, I need one who listens to what I'm saying
Right.
and I feel like is asking me questions and really is not just writing a prescription, but is really getting to the root of things. You would change a doctor, and it's the same thing to me for a counselor.
Yep.
That's a good point.
Look for another counselor.
So
Don't
I think,
give up.
So I think the question that we all want to know, that the people obviously want to know, is you've counseled hundreds of people now at this point. What percentage of them have you said this isn't working and you got to get out of here? She can't divulge this information, people. But we want to know.
Not necessarily.
Right?
I don't know that I would say probably scheduling has been one of the more challenging things in working with individuals.
I can't imagine. I hate scheduling so much, and I can't imagine trying to schedule all those meetings with people. No. Well, we are grateful for the counseling ministry, and I'm excited also for how it's grown and the potential for what it could be here even in the future. And we're so grateful to you and all the work that you do and the sacrifices that you make even doing this, because it's a ministry. And you could go make lots of money somewhere else as a business, and this is a ministry. And so we're grateful for you and for your husband and the support and encouragement you give the church here.
I wanted to ask one more thing.
Do it. Why not? I was about to transition, but do it.
No, I was going to say, if someone wasn't comfortable because they know you or they know Bethany, coming to you as a counselor and spilling their guts, they could still come to you and you could give recommendations.
Absolutely.
So just because you're like, I don't want to see that person.
I don't want to be like walking and be like, oh, I just told you some things. Which, by the way, you do a great job of not making it awkward for people that you know, but it still can be awkward sometimes.
It can be. There's kind of a little bit of wearing, multiple hats and learning how to balance that well. And I think that is something God definitely has gifted me in being able to do that, because there are a lot of counselors that would not. And so it's just that space of recognizing those boundaries. But that's always covered in those first few sessions.
First few sessions. Let's talk about it. That's good.
This is how we're going to work.
Yeah. No, that's a great point to bring up, Mary, because I know I've gone to you and said, hey, I need suggestions for these individuals, or, who do you know that you trust, or who do you know that would be a good fit? And so, yeah, absolutely. If there's people, you or people that are like, I know them, I don't want to go talk to them, but I need something here.
Yeah.
It would be great.
We offer that, some referrals or some other resources. And even just a few, I've met with several people just once. with that do attend church here. They just have, something kind of minor going on, but wanting a little bit of direction or guidance or just thought process. And so we don't necessarily get into anything more than that.
That's great. Well, thank you for sharing, and I'm grateful for the counseling ministry very much so. Okay, this week, again, so eager and so willing to share, Mary is going to give us the blessing of the week. It's hard to stop her from talking on camera sometimes, but I said, you know what, fine, I'll let you do it. Stop asking me all this time.
Really,
But
I beat him at arm wrestling. That's why I get to do it.
Blessing of the week, Mary, take us home.
I picked 1 Peter 5:7. Cast your cares on him because he cares for you. And I picked it because that's part of our lesson this coming Sunday in Summer Blast, is just talking about sometimes we get overwhelmed at all the things that we need to take care of or we need, and we're not sure how that's going to work out. And remembering that the one who made us and loves us has got it under control, and we can lay all of our concerns and worries before him and let him take care of it because he cares for us. And this is that time of summer where we've made it through summer quarter, we've started Summer Blast, we've gotten through camp, we still have VBS, we still have all these things, and there's a deep breath of, I don't know that I can do anymore. And it's my wise friends reminded me, you don't have to do it. God is in control. You just rest and eat a snack, take a nap, and let God take care of it.
That's right. Good.
So if you're overwhelmed, instead of laying sleepless at night, tell God about your worries, write them down, do whatever you need to do to hand them over and not take them back, and just close your eyes and rest.
Beautiful. Time for a nap then. All right. Thank you for joining us this week on the Ripple Effect Podcast. We hope you have a wonderful week, and we will see you here next week on the Ripple Effect Podcast for hopefully a special VBS edition of the Ripple Effect. So we love you all. Have a great week.